Death Wish is a new blood and guts thriller from director Eli Roth, who stars Bruce Willis as Dr. Kersey, whose wife is murdered and daughter is put into a coma after a robbery gone wrong. After days of waiting for the detectives to, do their job, Bruce Willis gives up and turns to vigilantism to track down and kill his wife's murderers. The news media call him the Grim Reaper.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. Isn't this basically the Punisher? No. The Punisher was a Marine veteran, so being a vigilante just makes a little bit more sense. And two, the Punisher is actually entertaining to watch do his thing.
The plot here relies too heavily on cliché movie elements and coincidences to get the story moving along. You have the montage gun training sequence, the is a vigilante a good guy or bad guy argument from the radio personalities, and the torture the lower henchmen to work yourself up to the final bad guy scene. I mean, that's just to name a few of them.
The characters, they're all one-dimensional, and the actors don't really help, all giving, a paycheck performance, if you will. Elizabeth Shue is probably the worst offender of them all. There's a scene where the burglars break in. The scene's actually very well done, but then you have her over-the-top crying acting that just takes you out of the scene, makes it less believable.
I don't think anyone was expecting Death Wish to be an Oscar-winning movie, but they were expecting more from director Eli Roth, who, helped usher in the torture porn genre in America. Example, Hostel. You did have blood and guts moments, you did have a torture scene, but it never really lived up to the title of Death Wish. There are a couple of giggle relief bits in this movie. I mean, it's a thriller slash action slash revenge movie, but they throw in some funny lines from Vincent D'Onofrio's character. He plays Bruce Willis's brother in the movie, and by Dean Norris, who plays the detective in charge of finding the Grim Reaper. So these funny lines, these funny little bits they try to throw in here, it kind of helps the movie from becoming too dark.
The character of Dr. Kersey is a top surgeon who's never used a gun before, so what does he do? He watches YouTube videos to learn how to use a gun. And the only reason the audience believes that this would actually work, well, is because it's Bruce Willis. That's just good casting, but cheap character development.
So this movie did have some action in it, just not as much as I wanted, of course, not as much as I needed. You had people with guns, you had Bruce Willis kicking people's butts, and the action started to happen, too much talking in between. Action, talking, action, meeting up with the detectives, talking to the detectives, action, doing surgeon stuff, blah, blah, blah. It got pretty boring really fast. I did like the action there was, I just wanted more of it, of course.
Who even wanted this movie to be made? I mean, the 70s pulp classic starred Charles freaking Bronson. How do you even improve on that? The acting is bad, the writing is mediocre. It seems like the directing goes out of its way to be bland. It's almost as if the filmmakers didn't even want to make this movie in the first place.
It wasn't the full Eli Roth that I wanted, but it wasn't half bad. It got me pretty pumped up, the soundtrack and everything. So 7 out of 10.
Too many film tropes and bland acting make this an unmemorable film. 1 out of 10.
The only reason this movie gets any points for me is because it had Thor. No, not Chris Hemsworth, Vincent. He played Thor in Adventures in Babysitting alongside co-star Elizabeth Shue. So for that, I'll give it a 4 out of 10.
There were some giggle bits, so I'll give it a few points, but by no means was this a comedy. 3 out of 10.
I feel like there wasn't enough here to make a better movie, but I feel like Eli Roth and Bruce Willis, they're just giving half effort. I mean, it's a movie worth watching, but just don't go out of your way for it. 6 out of 10. We here at Who's Review give Death Wish the overall rating of wait for the Blu-ray. This movie is not going to be for everyone with its over-the-top violence and vigilante storyline, but Bruce Willis does have a couple of good kill-the-bad-guy moments in here, and the overall storyline isn't really that bad. There's a lot of slow moments throughout this film that you want to get up and stretch your legs for, maybe fast-forward through, and the best way to do that is to wait for the Blu-ray. Well, there you have it. That's our review of Death Wish. What do you think? Do you think we were right on? Way off? Let us know in the comment section below, and we'll check it out and respond. As always, if you want to see the reviews coming out in the future, you're going to have to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and if you want to know what's coming out before it comes out, go ahead and like that Facebook page and follow us on Instagram. We hope you guys had a great time here, and thanks for checking us out at Who's Review. You have the montage gun training sequence. Sequence, I said.